This is a wild story. TikTok user says Walmart grocery bill nearly quadrupled in just 2 years. This video is epic. I'm just going to let this dude speak for himself because the way he talks about it, coming from like a regular dude, it's something else.
I feel like I'm going to be sick. I just like looked through my Walmart history and I found this like Walmart order from 2 years ago for the whole month worth of groceries. 45 items. Cost $126.
I want to pause real quick. It said EBT. You saw that? Mm-hmm. This is not a rich dude.
Whole month of groceries just for me, basically. But I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now. Now? This order of 45 items for 1 month would have cost $414.
That's a reason enough for Biden to lose.
That is...
Absolutely.
4 times
this is
more.
what people care about.
Yeah.
But understand this. This guy, look, in the beginning, you can see when he pulls it up, EBT.
Yeah.
Right? That's food stamps, isn't it?
Yeah. That's exactly
so
what it is.
My understanding is you only get like $200 a month, some like really low number. That means this ain't cutting it no more for people.
No, not at all. There's no way. The amount of the inflation that people are feeling now compared to 4 years ago, to try to tell the average person, no, it's all in your head, they're going to look at you and they're going to be offended and they're not going to vote for you. Democrats cannot win by saying, you poor people that are suffering, you poor people that are hurting, shut up, because it's more important that Joe Biden get back into office than Donald Trump because he's a racist Nazi bad man. He's very orange and he's terrible. They're going to listen to that and they're going to say, you do not care about me. You do not care about my needs. The only thing you care about is you being in government power and you having access to that power. That is not going to fly with the American people.
Phil, have you perhaps considered that maybe World War III, a 300% increase in your food costs is worth it if it means no mean tweets?
Yeah, I mean, look.
Mean tweets, they kept me up at night.
Such a good point.
It's true. It is very true. We haven't seen any mean tweets at all of the people that were getting mean tweets. There's been plenty of mean tweets. There's been threats of F-15 attacks, and he's called half of America a threat to the soul of this country, and he's insulted every single conservative out there. He's called, he's as vitriolic as Donald Trump ever was. Mm-hmm. But at least he didn't insult the New York Times. Thank goodness. You people make me sick.
And he's sending bombs everywhere with our money.
Yeah,
He loves it.
I think we should make the American people pay extra for that. I think that would make Joe Biden happy. And if we can keep Joe Biden happy, it's all worth it, right? I mean, this is the thing that I hate most about the Biden administration, which is that they claim to be of the people, right? They say, oh, well, Trump was a billionaire and he's unfair and he's mean and he doesn't know anything, whatever. And we're here for you. And they always talk about, anything that happens, they're like, well, it's congressional Republicans that are holding everything up. Meanwhile, every single day, life is getting harder for the average Americans. And Joe Biden is obsessed with the fact that he needs to stay in the White House. He doesn't actually care about serving the people. Not a lot of politicians do, but it's particularly egregious here when he'll go back to Scranton and say like, oh yeah, I grew up here. I'm just regular Joe. It just seems so sick.
He doesn't have the capacity to lie like that anymore. He might have been able to get away with that stuff 20 years ago, but now, I
can't keep his lies straight anymore.
He can't. I heard CNN. I don't know if it was CNN, but I heard one of the more mainstream channels, legacy channels, talking about the fact that Joe Biden does have a problem telling the truth, whether it's corn pop or his uncle's a cannibal or whatever.
He lied about
his uncle.
He lied about everything.
Cannibal.
Oh, okay.
He lied about his law degree, where he graduated. I mean, he'll lie about anything.
But guys, the most base thing ever is lying that your uncle was eaten by cannibals. Like that is a story you want Grandpa to tell. My uncle crashed. He said that his uncle was a pilot who crashed, and they never found the remains because he crashed somewhere where there's a lot of cannibals.
Unreal.
Which was like, are you saying your uncle was eaten?
That's when I was like, maybe he's from a different timeline. And that's why his brain is mush, because time travel is tough on your brain.
Joe Biden probably has a lot of friends that drink human and eat human blood, and
he knows all about it.
Yeah, I mean, he knows.
That's what's in those papers.
Yeah, that's not even unusual to Joe Biden.
Well, actually, one of the interesting things is that the audio recording of his conversation with Robert Hur over the classified documents in his garage, and for whatever reason, the DOJ won't release the audio of that conversation, just this transcript. Which, as we all know, when Joe Biden misspeaks, the White House edits the transcripts. So it's fascinating when you see Joe Biden read the prompter specific, like when he says pause and then keeps going, they don't put it in the transcript. And when he says the wrong place, they put the right place in the transcript, which means this conversation he had with this prosecutor is likely not the real conversation. What's in those recordings? They won't give them up.
Yep. Highly edited.
It's like Dick Cheney and George Bush got to do the 9/11 Commission report, behind closed doors. They're obviously, when they talk to these presidents, we're not gonna get the real story, what they really said. Yeah, I mean,
even the church committee, there's so much they didn't do, that we don't know about, and I loved that happened. But all that's behind closed doors. The UAP stuff that happened a few years ago, when it got to the juicy stuff about underwater UAPs, like we got to talk about that behind closed doors. I'm like, that's what I want to hear, though.
Are they going to bring up aliens, you think, during the debate?
Oh, I doubt it. But he has talked about it recently. Trump, that is.
They might, though, because...
illegal ones.
Well, yes. But I mean, like, extraterrestrials and UFOs might come up. It's an hour and a half, but it might come up because CNN knows they got to throw in some of that WWE stuff.
Yeah. It is Thursday Night SmackDown.
Clickbait.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would love it if they brought up UFOs.
But I think they're going to try and play it very boring.
I think so. It's going to be probably more boring than we expect because of the muted mics. It's going to be hard for Trump to interject the way we would love him to.
Yeah, I think it'll be more interesting when he does, because there's no way Trump makes it through a whole 90 minutes without making any kind of side comment, regardless of if his mic is on or not, which means it'll just be distracting to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You're going to get a moment where Joe Biden's trying to deliver a monologue straight to the camera, but he keeps hearing that Trump is talking to him. And that's sort of hilarious, Like, the thing about presidential debates is that I don't actually think that you have a substantive discussion of policy, right? It's not like we're like, oh, your points are interesting, and maybe if we worked on this, like, it is about the personality showdown, and Trump is the bigger personality in the room, especially if Joe Biden is as fatigued as we all believe that he is at this point. I mean, he is different than he was in 2020 and 2016, and I think that's where Trump knows he has the advantage, because ultimately his personality is distracting to Biden, who is emotional about it. I mean, if anyone believes Orange Man is bad, it's definitely Joe Biden.
When you say he's different, you mean because they're replacing him with a clone every few days?
I would only speculate. I'm not sure. But it does seem like he is not the same Joe Biden that was in the Senate.
I really enjoy watching Trump debate, but I was watching older debates where they actually did have real conversations about policies and real numbers and stuff. Like the first Nixon-Kennedy one is kind of amazing. They do agree a lot in that one. They're like, well, I agree with this person and that, and the American people are silent, the audience is quiet, and people are engaged. And it's just, you can see the slow decay of that when you get to like Bush, Gore, who's like laughing and condescending.
I'd actually really like to see a presidential town hall, where they have both candidates there. It's a little more, less structured, and also they take questions from a live audience, because I just think that would be the biggest contrast between the two. Because ultimately we know that Trump really thrives when he has people talk to, when he's entertaining and he can see them. And I think there is a reason that Joe Biden doesn't do a lot of press conferences, that he always seems to be just speaking to reporters and very infrequently, right? You would see the biggest contrast in that setting, in my opinion.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how charismatic Joe Biden is in I don't know how charismatic Joe Biden is. I'm sure that compared to Donald Trump, he's probably like, a shoe. So... because Donald Trump is hilarious. But at the same time, like, I don't feel like you can actually achieve that kind of level of success in politics, even to get to be a senator. Like, I don't feel like you can achieve that kind of success unless you can, make people feel like you do have their interest, because you at least have to be able to nail down donations and stuff like that. So you have to be able to do some kind of interacting with people and have to be somewhat personable. But when you're contrasting it with a showman like Donald Trump, someone that is genuinely an outgoing, wants to be funny, wants all the attention kind of dude, I think that it would show clearly. I mean, look at the way that the camera follows Barack Obama around when they're together. Joe Biden is like, they don't even give him a second thought. They don't care.
Like a pet puppy.
Yeah, it's
he has to be let off the stage. Right?
It's always on Barack Obama. No one cares, and you can see the frustration on Joe's face. So I imagine there would be something similar if he were to be in a situation like that with Donald Trump, because, again, he's not a compelling person. And the only reason that he is even the president is because he's not Donald Trump. Right.
Like would Donald Trump get bonus points if he helped walk Joe Biden off stage like Barack did?
I think
would that help him if he was?
I think it might.
I think it would.
I think it would get under Joe's skin.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, he'd definitely do that.
That's what he should do. Act like he's his paramedic or his helper, and
Well,
just
do you
try to
think
get
there'll
him
be a moment when Trump is like, are you okay? You know,
that would be smart.
You know,
are you having a medical emergency, Joe?
I'm sorry, Joe. Are you okay? I'll continue, Joe.
Didn't Trump recently or his campaign say that Biden was a good debater at one point? Like he
said, worthy debater. And Joe Biden is a career politician. He did, he's done vice presidential debates. He debated Trump last time, and I know a lot of people feel like Trump came out too hot, and there were bad moments there. This is where I go back to. Joe Biden doesn't even seem to be in the same condition that he was when he took office. It really seems like this is different. And I know this is, any left-wing media listening is like classic conservative thinking Joe Biden's better. Like it's everything about him. It's not like one day he had a bad press conference. It's like clips of him at random, even when they light him correctly, even when they give him a scripted answer, he just doesn't seem to be the person that was running with Obama and doesn't seem to be the same person who was running in 2020.
Think about how much Obama aged after 4 years, and this guy aged rapidly.
And his family is stressful. I mean, at least Obama had 2 daughters who were in high school. I'm sure that's stressful in its own right, but he has had all of this stuff. I mean, Hunter Biden alone has this crazy custody battle with his baby mama.
Wow.
He has a whole, he's got multiple legal issues going on. There is no relief if you're Joe Biden.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.